Am I scary yet? The idea of the man that keeps his face clean of any paint or makeup and uses 3-in-1 body wash is changing, thankfully. This is the look today. You don't even have to have a plan. I didn't. I just kind of did whatever on my face. Hi there, my name is Chris. I'm with Inside Fullerton, and today I'm going to be doing a how-to face paint, kind of a makeup tutorial, and I'm going to be talking about some other things as well. Alright, so first things first is the materials, obviously. So I'm going to be starting off with a Babisuka white paint stick. I have a lot of acne and I'm very prone to breakouts, so finding something that's not going to completely ruin my skin is really important to me, and Babisuka has never steered me wrong. Next up, I'm going to be using some setting powder. Any setting powder works. If you have baby powder, that also works really well, especially for the white base layer. And then next up, for the colors that I'll be doing, I use a You Can Be Cruise palette set. These colors don't smear too much with the white paint, but even if I do want them to smear, they turn out pretty well. There's also a pretty wide selection of colors to experiment with if you want, and it's also pretty decent for my skin, so I recommend. For the longest time, I would apply my paints with my fingers, which not that great for the acne, but it worked for a time. But if you want to buy brushes for like line work or anything, you can. You can buy any kind of brush. I use these paint brushes and they work pretty well. I forgot to clean them, which is not going to be great for my skin, but you know, I don't care. Alright, I don't want paint in my hair, so I'm gonna put my hair back. I apologize for my hairline. Alright, I'll be starting with the white base for the clown look that I'm doing. So I started kind of doing face paint in 2023 actually, but it didn't really start ramping up until I kind of fell in love with clowns in 2024. And then more recently, I started doing different kind of looks. I didn't really do specifically clowns anymore. Just gonna smear it pretty good. In my written story, not he, not she, just me. Shameless plug. I did a look inspired by somebody that I will be talking about soon. I did streaks of the non-binary flags colors. Okay, I think that's enough. You usually want to put a lot of the white base if you're doing that, because if you don't, the blue or gray hues from your skin tone are going to peek out through the white. Alright, I'm just going to get it everywhere that I didn't. Anyways, as I started doing face paint more, I kind of discovered that it was gender affirming for me, which might be a little strange. So I identify as non-binary. I'm a they, them. And you know, gender is kind of weird for me. I will flip-flop between wanting to present as a male or female, but sometimes I want to get away from gender. And my way of doing that is painting my entire face. The paint obviously isn't a mask, but it feels like one. You can still see my facial features, my jawline, my nose, all of that. It's not hiding anything. But when I apply the paint, I can feel it on my face, obviously. I feel the white on my face currently. It feels like it's covering everything. Alright, I am really getting it into my eyes. If you're doing this, fair warning, the cleanup later is gonna maybe sting a little bit. Okay, I have my white base now. Am I scary yet? So I didn't really do too thick of a layer, so you can probably tell there's a little bit of gray coming out from my skin tone. It's fine, it's whatever. We're not aiming for perfect tonight. Now I'm gonna do the setting powder. I don't want to make a mess on my bed, so I'm going to put some paper towels. I usually just kind of knock a bunch onto the paper towel, and then I'll take the puffy brush and just kind of get it all in there. I'll just kind of lightly apply the powder, trying to get it all over my face. Alright, I think I have that pretty evenly coated. Also, if you're a perfectionist and you kind of want to outline your face, you can take a Q-tip, lick it, and kind of just like trace it. Once I'm pretty comfortable with the amount of powder on my face, I'm gonna start beating it. This is just so I can make sure that the powder is really on there. I'm just gonna use my hands to do this. Okay. I think that's, I have powder on this. Why did I do that? The powder is meant to help the paint dry. If you don't put powder, the paint will not dry. You need the powder. All right, I'm gonna start doing the color now, and while I do that, I'm gonna be talking about some other things. I guess we'll start off with a red nose and red lips. So I usually get mistaken for being white when people first meet me. But I am a full-blooded Mexican, and one of my favorite holidays that comes with that is Dia de los Muertos. For those of you that don't know, it is a holiday that lands around Halloween, where Halloween is more of a spooky, scary holiday. Dia de los Muertos is more respecting the dead. Similar to Halloween, though, there is kind of overlapping iconography. Skeletons for Halloween are meant to be kind of like a scary, where skeletons in Dia de los Muertos kind of have a different meaning. I'm getting some, the paint's mixing a little bit. That's fine though. There's a lot of cultural significance in skulls for Dia de los Muertos. You have calaveras de azúcar, which are skulls made out of sugar that are adorned in jewelry. And then you have something like la Calavera Catrina. Can you tell that I'm a no sabo kid? Where the calaveras de azúcar are things that people can just make. La Calavera Catrina is more of a cultural figure. People will sometimes paint their faces in the style of La Catrina. The teeth are usually drawn in like a skull, the large black eye holes. People will put jewels on their face, similar to the calaveras de azúcar. Headdresses are usually a part of the look. All right, I think I'm good with the lips, and then I will start doing the eyes. I like doing blue on the eyes. The Pasadena Conservatory of Music says that the Catrina makeup has roots in indigenous cultures, specifically Aztec and Mayan traditions, but the meaning kind of shifted in the 20th century. Mexican artist Jose Guadalupe Posada made an etching of La Calavera Catrina that was a satirization of the elites at the time. This etching had the skeleton adorned in fancy European clothing. It was meant to make fun of the elites. Anyways, the entire reason that I brought up Dia de los Muertos and the makeup look of La Catrina is to say that face painting is a seemingly simple hobby. You might think of kids getting animals painted on their face at a fair or something. But something as simple as painting your face can be really important to a person or an entire culture. Anyways, moving on. Music has always been a stage for pushing the bounds of anything. One of my main inspirations for the look that I did for my written story, another shameless plug, was David Bowie. Bowie has always kind of been a symbol for the LGBTQ community with the way that he dressed, with the way that he presented himself. He would come out as gay, bisexual, and then a closeted heterosexual, whatever that means. You know, Bowie was not free of being just a little bit problematic, but it's fine. In 1972, Bowie would drop the album The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. With this album came the character Ziggy Stardust that Bowie would play.
Hi, this is Editing Kris. So I made an oopsie you're about to hear. I'll have some text on screen, but I thought I'd add some audio too. I say that a picture is of Ziggy Stardust, but it's actually about Bowie's other character, Aladdin Sane. This was a character introduced in an album of the same name in 1973. The same principle applies, though. They were both very androgynous characters that Bowie played, and both had makeup and face paint. Also, if you hear me say painting, no you didn't, I said picture.
One of the most famous paintings of Bowie that you've probably seen is of Ziggy Stardust. It's the one where he's against the white background, shirtless, with the lightning streak across his face. Now, a man with paint or makeup on his face nowadays shouldn't be any cause for commotion, but in the 70s, interviewers would constantly ask Bowie backhanded questions about his sexuality. Another group that pretty prominently featured face paint was Kiss. Kiss's kind of hard rock as opposed to Bowie doing more glam rock or pop. Facepaint is kind of Kiss's entire brand and aesthetic. They have characters built around the paint that they do on their faces. While their intention may not have been with an agenda in mind, it still pushes the bounds of what people think of sexuality and gender. The idea of the man that keeps his face clean of any paint or makeup and uses 3-in-1 body wash is changing, thankfully. All this to say that paint, or makeup for that matter, can be used as a tool to push gender to its limits. Anyways, I went through my talking points too fast, so I kind of have to fast forward the last remaining bit of paint that Alright, that's as good as it's gonna get tonight. Yeah. Jeez. Anyways, this is the look today. I'm usually a little bit nicer with my lines, but you know what? It's fine. I actually like it a little better when it's not, perfect. Anyways, I hope this video was enlightening, showing you how important this hobby is to me. Like I said, it's something that's really gender affirming for me when I want to just kind of take a break from gender entirely. This might not be something that's going to do the same for you, but I hope if you try it out that you have fun with it. It's pretty inexpensive and easy to get into. You don't even have to have a plan going into it. I didn't. I just kind of did whatever on my face. Like I said, it's something so special to me, even if it's pretty simple. I hope you find the little things in your hobbies that maybe make you more comfortable in your own body, and if you don't need that, I hope you find something that makes it more fun, I guess. Anyways, thanks for watching.